All right, so I know it's been a while, and I'm sorry that it's been so long. I haven't had therapy in a while. I actually did have it one more time since the last update that I made, but I don't know. I recorded the video, and I was actually really sick at the time. I had COVID, and I just didn't like the way it came out. I thought I just sounded so sluggish and everything. Hi, Kat. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing a little mental health update that I do every once in a while that I haven't done in a while because I've been slacking on therapy stuff. But I'm just gonna yap for a few minutes. If you want to listen, that's up to you. But I'm just chilling right now. I'm not just chilling. I'm gonna be talking for a few minutes. Um, but yeah, I haven't had therapy in a while. And then I had that session. I didn't like it, so I decided to reschedule. I didn't reschedule, but I decided to not upload it or edit it because I just didn't like it. I just sounded too dead in it. But maybe it'll see the light of day eventually. But for now, it's not going to. And and then a couple weeks later, I was supposed to have therapy again, and for a reason that was out of my control, I had to reschedule. And for some reason, I was supposed to reschedule, and I knew I had to reschedule, and I just wouldn't. And I think that I was kind of worried that I was kind of falling back through like that, that dark hole of like when you're in like a depressive state, and you don't want every decision and every action feels like it feels like the strong, like the most a crazy thing ever. Whenever you're in that state, every decision feels extremely heavy to extremely strong. And so I feel like I was kind of stuck in that. And thankfully, I feel like I realized it pretty quick, and I was able to kind of just throw myself out of it. And I did eventually reschedule, and it had been almost a month, so we had a bunch of talking about. I don't want this gun, but yeah, we sat down, we talked about a lot of different things because obviously it's been a long time, and I've been going to therapy for a few months now at this point, which it's crazy to think that it's been that long, but it is that long already. And kind of the first thing we talked about was kind of just why do I have this gun, bro? Where's my gun? Sorry, about to let someone just kill me so I get my gun back. Kill me, sir. But yeah, we talked about just my feelings and everything, and like how complicated it's kind of gotten. Because while some feelings are the same, and while I still have the same feelings and emotions that I've been dealing with and battling with for months, there's also new ones, and there's more complicated ones now. It's not just one emotion. I feel like things are starting to bleed into each other a bit more, and I feel like that's kind of just a sign of growth and like dealing with it, which I would say is a good thing. But it's just something that I've been handling and trying to do as best as I can. But we talked about it, and I think the biggest thing I can, like, the biggest compliment I can give about therapy is how much talking, especially with a professional, it truly does help because, like, you can reflect and you can have all of these dialogues within yourself and in your brain. But, and I've felt these things, and I'm like, maybe I feel like this because of that. But the difference from when you're just mentally just thinking about it compared to having a conversation and not getting perspective, but also just having someone to talk through it and just saying it out loud. Saying it out loud means it's just such a different feeling. It kind of becomes like real almost in a way. So that's why I do recommend therapy if you feel like you need someone to talk to or you need to get these like voices out of your head or anything like that. So that's why I can't recommend that stuff enough. But yeah, that's that part. Let me see. Yeah, and we talked about just kind of like changes in terms of like changes in everyday life. Whenever you have a big change in your daily life, that it's going back to something that was so normal and so common when it's obviously now it's a big difference all of a sudden. It's almost a surreal feeling because you're so used to something and you're so used to this thing that is the same every time you go to do something, and all of a sudden it's different. It's a really weird feeling. It's a really surreal feeling. It almost feels like not real or like a dream sequence. And that was something that I dealt with and that I felt, and it was a lot. It was a lot of pressure on me. And during the moments, I ended up feeling very panicky, and I was like starting to breathe or it was like getting hard to breathe, and I felt like I was like just freaking out, and I had to like remove myself from a situation and from the spot at that time, and just take a moment to breathe and relax and calm down. And And then I dealt with it, and it wasn't easy, but I kind of just took my moment and I dealt with it. And I didn't really think of it too much at the time, but my therapist really wanted to hammer the point in that it was actually a really big deal that I did something that was extremely uncomfortable and extremely out of my comfort zone considering the changes in my life. And I handled it well. And even though I felt panicky and I felt that situation, I dealt with it. I dealt with it straight on, and I'm proud of that now. I realize that it was a mental battle that, even if it felt awful in the moment, that it was one that I was able to withstand and win. So I'm very proud of that. So that's great because it was not an easy time, but thankfully I regained, had a good time. So just one battle at a time is all I can ask for at this point. Sorry, I have some notes, so if I stop moving or I do this, it's because I'm reading something. I don't want to be like too scripty though. Oh yeah, not too much left because we talked about like a lot of different stuff. There's obviously some stuff that I will not share because it's very personal. But we also talked about some different types of stress relievers or muscle relaxers, basically, and also a tip for dealing with when you're feeling super panicky and stuff like that. She told me about this thing about when you try to relax your muscles if you're feeling like super tense and your shoulders feel real like high and real like aggressive. She said to try to get into like a comfortable position and take it like focus on every single muscle group starting from like your feet to your calf to your thigh all the way up to your shoulders, neck, head, whatever. And take a second to tense it up for like 5 to 10 seconds, like really like you're straining almost, and then very slowly let loose. And I did practice some of that, and it actually did feel good. Like it felt pretty relaxing. It felt like I got a chance to like almost get like an extra. It felt like that muscle got to like breathe a little easier, which is nice. So I thought the tip was nice. And it's very simple, something easy to do. You don't have to get prescribed for muscle relaxers to do that, and it's not going to be like an instant fix to your life, but it's something in the moment that can help you out a little bit. So that's how I felt. And then the one thing that I didn't really thought about, and the one thing that she brought up was dealing when you're feeling panicky and like you have all these like negative thoughts. And basically what she said was like overstimulate your brain a little bit. Like she was like, honestly, just go to like your freezer or whatever, grab an ice cube, or and either go and just grab an ice cube to hold in your hand, or just dunk your face into like ice cold water. She was like, it will literally shock your brain to the point where it can't think about all those other stuff because it's just like, holy fuck, it's cold. So I think that's a great idea. Next time I'm really feeling like that, I'm just gonna either dunk my face into some cold ass water, or I'm gonna hold an ice cube and see if that works. I feel like it will. I can't imagine why it wouldn't. So I thought that was a fun little tip that should work. So, and I'm not trying to think if I forgot anything else from this session because we talked a good bit. Like I said, there was some personal stuff about feelings about things that I can't get into, but might take some of these tips. You should, especially if it's something that you've ever dealt with, Kat. Then go for it. You might as well. Fuck it. It could be helpful. You should let me know how if you try them, how it works out for you, because I still have to go try this stuff myself. W therapy for W therapy. Not sure, I don't know. But yeah, I believe that's it for now. That was my session. I will hopefully be editing this soon and making a TikTok of it. It's probably going to be a little shorter than the other ones just because I haven't done this in a while and I was kind of talking really quick. But yeah, that's it. Hopefully this helps someone or you just enjoyed listening to my updates and my stories. So thank you very much for listening.